So, vete omnes est Magister Sullivan, or sum Magister Sullivan. I'm back for the last bit of book 4 for Caesar 4.33, and we'll also do Caesar 4.34 today. We have one more video left for Caesar book 4, and then we're on to book 5, and kind of the tailing or the end of the AP syllabus for Caesar. So, so where we last left Caesar was that again he's making camp or has to make camp in Britain where he's not accustomed to do it, and as a result, the Britons whom he'd recently made peace with are now about to attack him because it's favorable to do so. And so it hasn't gone great for Caesar. He's had some ups and some downs. So, but now Caesar's going to describe a little bit about how the Britons fight. So here we go. So this is the type. So this is the type or kind of battle, right? So of battle from the charioteers or from the chariots. All right. I wanted to highlight this is a genitive. So these the underlying things. This is what we're going to highlight for our grammar note. So genitive. So this type of battle. First, so again, I'm sorry, we'll go back. First, they ride themselves through all these parts and throw their spears, javelins, and they put our ranks. So here's our object. Thoroughly, they put most of our ranks into confusion. So here's perturbant, into confusion, by the sheer terror of the horses and the shouting or the noise of the wheels. So equorum and rotarum, these are examples of genitives, right? Okay. And when, here's our verb for this, they entwined themselves or insinuated themselves between or among the factions or teams or squadrons of the horse soldiers or the cavalry. They jump down from their chariots. Then again, Asceti are 2 horse chariots, and they fight, they battle on foot. Meanwhile, the charioteers, here's our subject, the charioteers uh, get out or leave, literally go out gradually from the battle or out of the battle, and in such a way they locate or they assemble their chariots. So this is going to start an ut clause, and the ut clause with this is called a clause of result. And so as you can see, praemontor is going to be subjunctive, but that's subjunctive because of C. And then habeant is our verb that's going to go with ut in the subjunctive clause of result. So again, if we go back and they assemble their chariots, or they collect or gather or locate their chariots to such an extent that, and then we go here, those if those ones are pressed by the great number, by the multitude of the enemy, they would have, or they may have, a free kind of getaway for themselves or for them. Right, so expeditum, an unhindered escape or retreat. Okay, Down here is our main verb for praistan. Sto is to stand. So, but here they stand before they show to such an extent or in such a way the mobility of the cavalry and the stability, again, under arrow, of the foot soldiers in these battles, or in the battles. And they make it or do it or bring it about tantum in such a great way or in so great a way by the daily use and training. Again, here's that clause of result. So we have a word like tom or eta, even though that's not subjunctive, but tantum, right? These are target words that tell us that we're going to have a result clause. So here's our uti. This is starting our result clause. And then we have to count all the way down to consuerint, right, for our subjunctive verb and the verb in the clause. This is a perfect subjunctive. More on this later, but we can tell because it's ERI is the tense sign that we would put in there. So remember, this is we translate this as a normal perfect, so that as a result they were accustomed. And now we're going to go find, since this verb always has an infinitive, we're going to go find our infinitives. So we have sustinere, we have moderare, we have flectare, we have percurrere, we have insistere, and we have recipere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subjunctives going with this verb they were accustomed to. So they bring it about to such or so greatly or so great by daily use and exercise that as a result they were accustomed to sustain, to keep their horses, their horses that were aroused, their horses that were stirred up, that were incited, um, in a downslope and a steep location. So all these things, declinavi and praecipiti, are going with loco. And they moderate and turn in a short span of time. So I would probably include tempore here, although it's not that. Or it could be spatio, right, in a short breadth of time. And they run through or go through the pole, kind of the chariot, and they stand on the yoke, right, and they take themselves very quickly uh, from whence, or here we can say back into their chariots. So quite you know, amazing maneuvers here on chariots as they attack. So we learn a little bit about how the Britons attack. They attack with these assidii, these chariots, two horse chariots, and they're quite agile. We know that they put the Romans into disarray, just due to the sheer terror of the horses as well as the spinning of the wheels. So that kind of unnerves them. And then once they get down from their chariots and they fight on foot, right? And the charioteers kind of lead them out. Um, so anyway, it looks like Caesar is kind of met his match here. So let me pause and then we'll go back over 434 or 4.34. Salvete, welcome back. Ego sum Magister Sullivan here with 4.34, or Caesar 4.34, where the Britons wish to rid themselves of the Romans and Caesar forever. Okay, and we're going to start right off with an ablative absolute. So, with our men, meaning Caesar's men, having been put into confusion or disturbed by these affairs, or by these matters, and due to the or in the newness of the battle. So here's our genitive again. Caesar carried help at the most opportune time, most advantageous time. For by his arrival, the enemies or the enemy stood still or stopped. Our soldiers, right? Caesar always uses nostri or nostros, as you can tell, or nostries, right? But he really means noster megalites, right? Our soldiers took themselves from fear, right? Probably recovered themselves from fear. With this having been done, or by this having been made, apparently and having thought that the time is alienum, not advantageous, or the time was another, for again, so for attacking the enemy and joining the battle. Right. So here we have a gerundive and another gerundive, right? So think, remember, like sendum, hostem, since it's with another word, right? And so he shut himself, or he contained or held himself in suo loco, in his location, with a short time having been sent in between. He led his legions back into camp. While these things were carried on, or are carried on, or are done, um, our, or I'm sorry, all our men, having been busy, the rest, meaning the rest of the Britanniae, who were in the fields, departed or left. Okay, and now storms. Here's our subject for secuti sunt, right? That's our perfect verb. Followed. So the storms followed for a continuous or many continuous days. So complores and continuos go with dies. And then quae is actually going to refer to storms. The storms which both, so we have an et and an et, both contain or were containing. So we have the imperfect subjunctive and imperfect subjunctive here because of et. So which both, which storms both were containing our men in the camp and preventing the enemy from fighting or from the battle. Meanwhile, the barbarians sent messengers or messages into all parts, and they declared. Here's our main verb. They declared to their own the scarcity of our nostrum troops, of our soldiers, and such or so great, or how great a, so we have to go all the way facultas, such a great opportunity. We've seen something mentioned like this before, and also the last time we saw this, we did see a gerund or gerundive, so that's what we have there too. So how great an opportunity for making booty, or for making treasure, and for liberating themselves forever, would be given, right? Darate, or passive, also an imperfect subjunctive. So if they expel, now this is explicent, so this is a pluperfect subjunctive and most likely should be had expelled. Here we're just going to use it as a present. So if they expel the Romans from the camps, they showed, they pointed out. And so with these matters, swiftly or quickly, and again, or by these matters, or by these deeds, or by these affairs, with a large number, again, with a number here, we have a partitive genitive, with a great number, with a great multitude of foot soldiers, and a great multitude of cavalry, having been assembled, having been gathered literally together, they came, here's our main head verb, they came to the camp. Okay, so here we have it where, um, they are declaring to others and sending out messages to others that this is the time for getting not only some good spoils of war, but also of finally liberating themselves forever. So again, if they can finally expel the Romans from their camps, and then it will be showed or pointed out. And so for those reasons, or by these reasons, swiftly, with a large number of foot soldiers and horse soldiers or cavalry having been gathered together, having been assembled, right, they came to the camp, right, to finally, hopefully, dislodge Caesar and the Romans once and for all. All right, so that's it. That's the conclusion of this part. We'll figure out what happens next on Friday's class. Right? Gratias omnes, multissimas gratias. Valete.